You know, one of these days I'm gonna remember like the most embarrassing thing that I ever done in my life that I probably blocked out for the longest time. And because I'm honor bound to tell you all of my embarrassing stories, I'm gonna have to tell you guys, and I'm probably not gonna like the results of that story at all. Yeah. Anyway, guys, what is going on? SecondBlank here, and of course, as you know, all day, every day, Battlefield 3 commentary, gameplay, thingamabobbers, giant cookie cake, milk, booze, and cake. Yeah, just regular old cake though. You know, there's a cookie cake and then there's cake. You gotta have one and the other. It's not one or the other. It's one and the other. You know, because you know, they kind of go hand in hand actually. If you ever really think about it, in a birthday party, you never see just cookies and or a cake. It's more likely just both at the same time. I'm getting off track here. Anyway, yes, time for me to tell you guys another snippet of my life that I probably more than likely blocked this one out as well, and I just remembered it. My goodness. I can't believe I have to tell you guys this, but I'm going to have to anyway. This is going to be a snippet of when I used to be in A1 singular High School Musical. And no, I'm not talking about the fucking High School Musical from Disney, which there should not have been any single one, but they made 3, and I hate Disney Channel for doing such a thing like that, just to fucking plague the young minds of teens and preteens with all that jazz. But that's not the point of this commentary, to be a ranty. It's supposed to be to entertain you. So let me go ahead and entertain you of what happened in this musical. Now, believe it or not, people, I actually have an okay singing voice. You know, I try to be very modest about it, but in all honesty, whenever I really think about me singing, it's like the worst picture in my mind, because I know for a fact that my self-esteem is so low to say that I don't sing very well at all. And then there's the point where some people say, oh, but your singing's pretty good, I like it, and all this good stuff. And I'm not going to sing for you guys, alright? Just fuck it, alright? I'm not going to sing for you guys right now. But it involves me being in this musical, and because I had an okay singing voice, I had to be in this musical thing. So, when I was in this musical, it was called Once on This Island. It was only me, out of the group of my friends, who went out to go try out for this musical, because I was kind of bored with my after-school activities, and I want to do something kind of interesting, kind of out of the ordinary, more or less something different I actually ever done in my lifetime. And I've never been in an actual musical myself, but I decided to go out for this one. And it was like the very first audition I ever went for a play, let alone a musical, and I was kind of nervous to say, you know, or kind of nervous to think that maybe I won't be called back into being in the musical, but they ended up doing it, and apparently they were very impressed with the range of my voice. Of course, it's not the point of the commentary, but the point of the commentary was there was a point where I had to be sort of described in one of the notes in the little play note thing. If you guys know what I'm talking about, the play note is basically like the little program where they kind of give you the credits of what's going on in the musical, who's like the actor, the actresses, you know, the stage crew, names, directors, all this good stuff, right? And there was a point where they had to describe the characters and describe, you know, what was the position in the play or musical they're in. So I was described as one of the ensemble characters, basically the extra number 25 or something like that, you know. Yes, I was an extra, and I didn't really mind it. It was more along the lines of just me being in a musical doing something different, right? Well, in this musical, there was one particular scene that I truly hated. I didn't understand why. I guess my body betraying me in a sense, because, you know, back then, like I am now, I'm kind of a chunky guy. I'll admit to you guys, you know. You could probably hear in my commentaries how chunky I am. I'm not sure if you can really tell, but I know for a fact that I am a chunky man. I don't really hide it all that well, and I don't really care for whether or not people think I'm kind of fat or chunky or whatever, right? You know, it's not a big deal. But it was because I was a chunky man. I was kind of bigger than most of the people in the cast of the musical, so they kind of think, you know, there's this one particular scene where on this musical, there is a girl who's supposed to be riding a donkey, in a sense, right? And there's a big musical number where they're introducing this girl as like the main protagonist of the musical, trying to tell the story of what she was as an orphan, now growing up in an island, trying to be a prince or princess to, or actually a princess, I should say, not prince, but princess to a royal family. And, you know, they're introducing the girl, and there's all this good fun. And there's a point in the musical where they have to introduce her onto a donkey. And because I was the biggest person on the musical cast, they decided to tell me to be. They decided to tell me that I should be the donkey. And I was kind of confused as to what they really meant for me to be the donkey. Like, I don't know if they meant that in a positive way, or, you know, the so okay way. But the way the director said it, who was actually once a teacher of mine, he told me in front of everybody, you should be a jackass. And of course, everyone was like, "What the fuck? What's he talking about?" And I was like, "Okay, this is taking an awkward turn." But he told me, like, yo, at this point, there's a donkey introduced into the scene where the girl has to ride a donkey. So, you know, it looks like you can support many people's weights around here. And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess. And he said, okay, so you should be the donkey. And this girl's particularly small, so it should be no problem for her to ride the donkey. I was like, okay, this is taking a very, very interesting turn. And he told me, and I quote, that you should be on all fours and she should be on top of you. And I was like, okay, this is not taking the turn that I wanted to go into. And people were kind of stunned as to hear a director say that to a kid, basically. I'm a child. I'm still a child. You know, I may be a teen, but I'm still a child. And to say something like that, and in front of all these, you know, teenagers who have these dirty minds and gutter minds, to hear a director tell a dude, yeah, she should be on all fours and she should ride you, it's not a particularly good way to describe what the hell I'm supposed to do in this scene. But apparently I understood more or less what he wanted to do. He basically wanted me to be on all fours, basically on my hands and on my knees, and she was going to ride on my back in a scene, and I was supposed to walk across the stage on all fours while they're singing. I was supposed to be just riding along and la 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 and all that good stuff, right? So basically that was one of my bigger roles in the scene. Now I understand that this is supposed to be just a musical. It's this one particular scene. I understand that, right? I totally get what sacrifices, or not sacrifices, but what roles you may or may not like, but you have to do anyway. And I understand that. It was not a big deal for me. However, the fact of the matter is, my friends were going to see the musical, and I didn't think far ahead that they were going to understand what I had to do, because I never told them exactly what I was doing in the musical. They just kind of had a vague description that I was going to be in it. They don't know what I was going to do. They didn't know what it was about, and they wouldn't probably understand the scene itself. So they were just going in fresh, me not telling them anything about the scene itself or anything about the musical. So my friends came along this one particular night. They came in a big group, and they came like around opening week of the musical, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be kind of interesting. But the good news about it was that I didn't have any stage fright. You know, I'm incapable of having stage fright, mainly because I wear glasses most of the time, and you know, without my glasses, I'm kind of blind when it comes to seeing far away. So for me to be without my glasses and looking afar is kind of hard to see people, hard to make faces. So for me, I kind of don't really see what's going on around me most of this time. So me without glasses is like the best way to cure my stage fright. I don't really know if I have stage fright myself, but I seem to be okay. I'm an okay speaker when it comes to that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's not the point. So, you know, I didn't have stage fright, but I was kind of nervous to think what my friends would think about the musical, me being in the musical, because they never seen anyone else outside of our friend group being in a musical. So when they saw me in the musical and they saw that particular scene in the musical, they basically made that the biggest moment in my musical career, is to say that I was donkey number one. And I was like, fuck, man. And to this day, sometimes my friends would bring it up to say, oh yeah, I remember you were a donkey or a jackass and that girl's riding you, ha 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 ha, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you know what, oh my god. And of course I have some dirt on them, so I can always, you know, throw that at them, so I don't really give a fuck at that point. And they know the fucking gloves are off when I do that. But yeah, basically I had to be a donkey on a fucking musical. Being on the floor and having a girl ride me was kind of a dream of mine, but I never thought it would take on that weird turn. But you know what? That's sacrifices that you may need to do sometimes in a musical. Anyway, guys, that is my funny story for you. I hope you guys kind of like that story. If you have a related story when it comes to musicals or plays, please let me know in the comments below, or let me know in the inbox on YouTube, and I will answer accordingly. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Enjoy your day / evening whenever you are watching this. This is SecondBlank saying peace out. Later, Gators.